Welcome to today's lesson on the circulatory system. Now, what is the function of the circulatory system? Well, the function of the circulatory system is to transport materials around the body. There are many materials that need transporting. These include oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, hormones, and waste chemicals. The circulatory system is made up of the heart, blood vessels, which include arteries, veins, and capillaries, and blood, which contains red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and plasma. But for today's lesson, we are going to be focusing just on the heart. We'll be looking at the function of the heart, features of the heart, and exactly how blood pumps in and out of the heart. There are two types of circulatory systems. We have the single circulatory system and a double circulatory system. Can you tell me the key difference between the two? Well, the key difference between the two is that in the double circulatory system, blood flows through the heart twice in each cycle, as you can see here. Now, fish possess a single circulatory system, where the heart pumps deoxygenated blood to the gills. That is blood that does not contain any oxygen. And at the gills, the blood will pick up oxygen. Then oxygenated blood is supplied to the body, and then deoxygenated blood will return to the heart. And this cycle will continuously repeat. As I mentioned earlier, the double circulatory system, the blood passes through the heart twice in each cycle. Humans and mammals have a double circulatory system. Now, the heart pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs, that is oxygen that does not contain any oxygen. And at the lungs, the blood will take in oxygen. It then will travel back to the heart, and then the heart will pump oxygenated blood to all the different organs all around the body. The blood will give up its oxygen at the body cells, and deoxygenated blood will return to the heart for it to be pumped out to the lungs once again. We're going to look at the basic features and functions of the heart. Now, the heart is a pumping organ that keeps blood flowing around the body. The walls of the heart are mostly made up of muscle tissue. The heart also has valves. And valves ensure that blood flows in the correct direction. In other words, valves prevent blood flowing backwards. Now here we have a simple diagram to demonstrate the function of valves. As you can see, blood here is flowing in one direction and passes through the valves. Now, once blood has passed through the valves will then shut. And this is, as I mentioned earlier, to prevent blood from flowing backwards into the atrium, for example. How does the heart pump blood? Now, I want you to remember that humans have a double circulatory system whereby blood passes through the heart twice. So I want you to bear that in mind as I show you exactly how blood flows in and out of the heart. Now, the heart has four main chambers. The right atrium, located here. The right ventricle, which you can see is here. The left atrium, which is located here. And the left ventricle, shown here. These are the four main chambers of the heart. Now, deoxygenated blood, that is blood that does not contain any oxygen, enters the heart through two large veins, the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. This blood will pass into the right atrium and will then flow through the tricuspid valves. Now, when the right ventricle is full, the tricuspid valves will shut, and this will prevent the blood flowing backwards from the right ventricle into the right atrium. Then, blood will flow through the semilunar valves and out through the pulmonary artery located here. Now, this blood will then travel towards the lungs, and at the lungs, oxygen travels from tiny air sacs and through the capillary walls into the blood. In a future lesson, we will look more closely at arteries, veins, and capillaries. Now, the oxygenated blood, that is blood that contains oxygen, returns from the lungs and travels through the pulmonary vein into the left atrium. This blood will then pass into the left ventricle through the mitral valve. Now, once the left ventricle is full, the mitral valve will shut, and this prevents blood flowing from the left ventricle backwards into the left atrium. Then, blood will travel through the semilunar valves and out the aorta, where the oxygenated blood will head towards the different organs of the body to drop off oxygen at the different body cells. This pattern is continuously repeated, causing blood to flow continuously to the heart, lungs, and the body. Now, you must remember, the heart also needs its own supply of oxygenated blood. Arteries called coronary arteries branch off the aorta and surround the heart, making sure that it gets all the oxygenated blood it needs. Now, I know that is a lot to take in, so as an additional homework task, I would like you to draw your own diagram of the heart, label the blood flow using two different colors, blue and red, to show deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood, and the different parts. I find that this will really help you understand the heart better, and it will help you memorize the different parts as well. I'm going to look at an individual's natural pacemaker, and we're also going to compare it to an artificial pacemaker. An individual's resting heart rate is controlled by a group of cells in the right atrium wall, located here, that act as the heart's natural pacemaker. So this is the right atrium, and this is the wall of the right atrium, and this is where you will find the heart's natural pacemaker cells. These cells produce a small electric impulse, which spreads to the surrounding muscle cells, causing them to contract. An artificial pacemaker, on the other hand, is often used to control the heartbeat if the natural pacemaker cells do not function correctly. For example, a pacemaker is often implanted if the individual has an irregular heartbeat. It is a small device that is implanted under the skin and has a wire going to the heart. It produces an electric current to keep the heart beating regularly. That is the function of an artificial pacemaker. Now, that was the last part of the heart side of the circulatory system. Now, the homework task for this lesson is to complete the 3 exam questions in the worksheet, which we will look over at the start of the next lesson, and also the additional homework task, which is to draw and label your own heart diagram. I hope to see you next week. Thank you.